Hey, this is Donnie Vaughn of the Marketing Twins. Here's another tutorial for the Come for Winter team. Okay, what now? Right now, at this point, we have created a page for Honduras, and it's just more of an informational page that tells us information about where and when and what and all that. And you can see that all located here. Here's a flag of Honduras. This application process will open October 1st. Now, what we've got at this point is we want to set up an application page. Right now, as you'll see from the URL that we have set up, this is comebeforedinner.org under the renewals, because remember that it's part of this renewals section here, Honduras. But now we want, let's say we're now ready to create the application and we want to launch it October 1st. So how do we go about doing that? Here's how we do that. Under the dashboard, the first thing we have to do is create a new application page. Now, let's just double check to kind of see how we've done previous application pages. So I'm going to go over here to edit. I'm going to use our Thailand as an example. And again, up here you can type Thailand to search through all the 33 pages. You'll see here that the very first one is this application Thailand. That's not to be confused with this Thailand one here. The Thailand one here is the actual page, just like we have already for Honduras. It's more of information. Right now it says this is closed. We don't want the Thailand page. We want the application for Thailand, and that's noted right here. So what we want is to do it very similar. So let's look and see how we did it in the application for Thailand. The first thing we have to do is to figure out what we want it how we want the page to say. Right now it reads application Thailand 2010, but that's not how we set it up initially. Initially, you can see here from this permalink, we set it up as apply Thailand. So let's remember that when we go to set up our new page, we're going to say apply Honduras, and I'll show you what that means. We've got this great photo here that's the apply. I can tell you that right now that this photo is what we use for all of the applications, whether it's for Honduras or Thailand or Rwanda or Paraguay or wherever we've done previous renewals. This is the page that we've used. So this is the photo that we've used. You can see here that there's a list of applications that people can come back and click here. We'll talk about that in another tutorial. Here's the who, what, when, where kind of stuff that you see. And all of this information is pretty much the same on every renewal. There may be a few tweaks, and you guys will know what those tweaks are. Obviously, you have to have specific information about hotels and dates and stuff like that. But what we want to do is set this up very similar to this right now. We want to make an apply Honduras page look very similar to this, including all of this information. Now we're going to get to about right here, and this is where we're going to stop, because from here down is our actual application that we use Google Forms to create, and we will get to that in another tutorial. So we're going to go to really right about there. This is what we want to recreate. Now I can tell you that this is what I'm going off of is the information that was provided here. So this information that you see on the screen is very similar to this information here. You can see that it's got your who, what, when, where, the please read carefully. So, you know, for me, this makes it real easy because all I have to do is copy and paste this information in. Obviously, when you guys are doing it, you'll know what needs to be changed on every particular renewal. So the look and feel is the same, but the data needs to be tweaked just a bit for the specific renewal. But some things that are going to stay the same are this photo. This little section here will stay, although we'll have to change the link on that. I think maybe we'll just have to look at that. Obviously, a little bit of information here. So how do we get this started? The first thing I'd want to do is how do we get a hold of this picture? Now, there's a couple different ways to get a hold of this picture. You can right-click and just copy it. That's one way to do it. Or I'm going to show you another way to find it within the media library. And I think you've seen a tutorial on the media library. Let me show you how to retrieve that. So, very first thing we have to do is to create an apply Rwanda page. If you remember, let me right up here where it says apply Thailand, we want to create one that now says apply Honduras. Can't talk today. So when we type apply Honduras, what this does is allows us to be able to lock in what they call the permalink right there. So now we've got that. Now, before we go and make any changes up here, let's go ahead and publish this page. Now remember, in this from previous tutorials, even though we've published it, it's not actually visible until we go into the settings and indicate that we want it on a menu, which we actually don't want it on the menu. It's kind of a hidden page it's on your website, but no one knows to get to it unless they know to click the link to get to it. You're not going to be able to find it from forwinter.org. Typically, you're not going to find that link directly here. You're going to find it. You just have to know the link. And so now that we have the link, we know it's applied Honduras. Okay. Now that we've updated the page, we'll update it again just to make sure. Okay, we've in the permalink. Now I can change this to what we've said before. Now, just because I'm trying to remember what we called it, but let's call it apply Thailand. Okay. So we have the photo and we have some of the who, what, when, where, and all that kind of stuff. So when we get here, the first thing we want to do is to change this to match kind of what we did here. So they've got apply application Thailand. Let's say that this is also going to be application. So you can catch up to me. Honduras 2011. Okay, so now I'm going to update that page, and you don't have to every time, but I'm just doing this for the tutorial. I can actually view the page right now if I want to. You can see that application Honduras. We have to make one little change that I forgot about. What looks different between here and here? Well, the big difference is there are no sidebars, and so that I have to go over here. We're going to leave that parent page because it's actually not going to be visible in the menus, but I do want to change the default template to no sidebar. So now when I update the page and I hit view page, now it should look very similar. What is this right here compared to this right here? So we're staying consistent in the look and feel of it. But obviously we've got to fill out some more information. All this stuff here has got to be filled out because right now there's nothing there. As you see down here at the bottom, you've got the 3 logos, and that's all we have. So we have nothing to fill in, but we're about to add that. So what we'll do is we'll go back up here to see what we did. So the first thing, we've got kind of the page heading set up. Now we have this picture. So how do we add this picture? I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. And right here on the page, I'm in the visual tab, not the HTML, the visual tab. I'm going to center it because I like centered. I'm going to go over here to Media Library. And that's not what I want to do. I want to click here. I want to go up here to add media first. So here's the cursor. Hit add media. Now previously when we added a photo, I think we added a flag. If you'd seen that tutorial already, we added a Honduras flag. I selected it because I wanted to add media files from my computer. But anytime you add a photo, as you've seen from the tutorial already on Media Library, anytime you add a photo to a page from your computer, it automatically puts it into the Media Library. So we know that this photo right here, the apply photo, is already in the Media Library. We just have to find it. So let's click on, we're not adding it from our computer. These are different tabs. We're going to click Media Library. Okay, so now there are lots and lots of photos. There are 22 pages of, there's 164 total images on this. So how do we figure this out? So let's do a little search and see if we labeled it correctly. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We got lucky. There's that photo right there. You can see there's the pink lady in the blue blazer. That appears to be the same. We called it apply. All you have to hit is show. It shows all the information about it. Just like this. We like this so far. Full size image. Now we have to insert into post or so now it's starting to take on the look and feel that we want. Let me just update the page here and I'll show you. This again is our Thailand page. Now let's go to view page on Honduras that we just created, and let's see how similar they're starting to look. They're looking very similar. In fact, I'm just going to toggle back and forth, and you can see they almost look exactly the same, except the only thing that's changing are these pictures, which would change randomly anyway, in this section right here. So we're on the right track. So the next thing we have to do is add this information. So you can do it a couple different ways. You can just type it out. You can. We've already got some of this information already on the other page for Honduras, so we could go get it there. And so I'm going to go to our page, and I'm actually going to update this so I make sure I don't lose anything. I'm going to go to my edit pages. I'm going to find my Honduras page, not my application Honduras, because that's what I was working on. Search. Now I'm taken to this right here. See, I can copy that. Now I can go back to edit page. Now I want to go back to my application. I want my cursor to be at the end of the picture here. So there we go. I'm going to right click and paste it in. Do a little formatting and center it so it looks similar to the others. There we go. Now when I update the page, we're starting to get, I'm going to view the page, and now again we're going to talk back and forth with their Thailand page. And we've got some information about the thing. Now what we need to do is add these little lines right here. So what I would recommend you do, I mean, you can copy it directly from the website. This is probably where we want to be careful. I just copied it over from the previous website rather than going to the actual page for Thailand. Let's see, we put that right above the who, what, when, where. So kind of right in front of that, I'm going to put a cursor. Just to be safe, I always like, when in doubt, do this paste as plain text and insert it. Now I just kind of go back and see, okay, it looks like they did a little bold action. So I'm going to go up here and hit bold. I'm going to center that. Looks like they kind of did a little tab thing. So I may take that off the center and do a left click. It's going to be hard to kind of have to scroll. That picture's so big that so you have to kind of scroll up and down to get what you want there. But I'm going to hit tab a couple times, getting closer. I'm hitting this tab button. Let's hit it one more time here, see if we can get that move over. Okay, now this little section here, I believe, was centered, and that looks to be more centered. So I'm going to go back up to my formatting, center it. I'll bold that, and let's see where that takes us to. Now you can also see that this is done in a pink, so it kind of stands out a little bit. Starting to look a little bit better. So let's go over here to here, and looks like we put that in some kind of pink color. The only thing we have left to do, which I'll do in another tutorial, because this is going to take parts to do this, is I'll finish up this tutorial here in just a minute as we continue on building the application page for Honduras.